Hey everyone, welcome. This is going to be a little tutorial on how to use compasses. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and draw these Olympic rings down here. Okay, so you see there's a bunch of circles, they're kind of intertwined. We're not going to worry about the overlapping because that's kind of an extra artistic thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to use these compasses. Now this is one compass, and this is another one that we have. Now they're basically identical, everything's almost the same except for this one has the wheel that goes all the way around and this one only has half. So not really a big deal, doesn't matter. First, here's how you adjust it. You take this little middle lever right here and you unscrew it, and then you can adjust it to whatever length you want, and then you go back once you get to the spot you want, you close it back down. Alright, you don't have to screw it down super tight, just as long as it's finger tight, that'll be okay. And this one's almost the same thing, except the difference is if you just twist it to the side, it's like that, it'll slide, and you twist it back so that way it's lined up with the hole there, and then it's not going to move. Okay, so if you notice, if you look at these really closely, if we'll just zoom in real quick, you see how there's that little X right here in the middle? There it is. There, in the middle of that's a little point, and that's going to be the center of your circle. Both of them have it, so you try and line that up with the center of your circle. So let's try that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this graph paper, that way it makes it look really nice. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the center of my circle in blue, that way I just have a little point. So I'm going to start right here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. Compass, and I'm going to set that up to the middle. You see how it's now in the middle? I'll zoom in real close, and then we'll wait for it to. There it is. Okay, so you see how that X, it's kind of hard to see right now, but as you go in, you can see how it's right on that dot. That's really good. And then what you do is when you want to end up drawing your circle, I'll make this a little bit up here. There we go. Is you're going to hold this down, and when I hold this down, this thing's going to be able to move pretty freely. Okay, you see how I can slide it around? So you really have to push this down. You have to push it down super hard so your finger turns white and it hurts, but as long as you give it some pressure, this will rotate around and it's not going to move. Alright, I'm actually going to rotate this around because otherwise I'm going to hit the top of the pad and that will be not so good. So I'm going to have my center be right there, and the first blue ring is what I'm going to make. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this compass, the size of it, until I can figure out exactly how big I want it to be. How many graph paper dots or lines do I really want it to be? Well, I have it at here would be one. Maybe I'll go to here or here. Let's just have it there. So you see how what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to adjust this until the hole in here fits on where I want it to be. It doesn't matter which one you use. I want to make it kind of small, so I'm going to use the inside one. Notice how it's got an inside one and an outside one. So you can make smaller or bigger circles depending on what your application is. Okay, so I'm trying to line it up. I found a spot where I think I want it to be. I'm checking this to make sure it's still on the dot. It is. And I'm checking this to see, is it on a blue cross mark? And when it is, I'm just going to slowly close it so I know my hole doesn't move too much. If it does move, just open it up and close it back down after you make your fine adjustment. So I should be able to have this pretty accurate. So this was the hole that I'm looking for. I want to go right on this line here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my writing utensil, whether it's pencil or colored pencil or marker, whatever you have, and you just go around in a circle. Now you kind of notice that your finger gets in the way, and so does the little corner on my paper because it's a little bit bent. But there we go. There's my circle. And if I move it off, there's a decent circle. You'll probably look a little bit better if you use a pencil or a marker, or as opposed to a marker, because the marker kind of bleeds through a little bit. So there's the first one. Next I have to use black, and notice how there's a space in between the blue and the black. The nice thing is I'm not going to readjust this at all. All my circles are exactly the same size. They're similar, or they're congruent. It's a math term you'll find out later. But we are not going to have to change that at all. What's nice about these is that I don't have to worry about this anymore. It's tightened down. It's not moving. Alright? So as long as you don't try and pull on it or anything, you're going to be okay. So next I'm going to remember to use that inside circle. I'm going to give it about one graph paper box length in between. And this was my center, so I'm going to go back to this way. I'm going to make sure that this goes here, and my center is now right over here. I could mark it. I don't have to this time, though. Okay, so as long as I know where it is, if you're not sure, if you think you might make a mistake or something moves a little bit, that's okay. You could mark it right there. And I'm going to go back, find it, and then I'm going to draw it. I'm going to move this up. That way it's a little bit easier for me to draw. I'm going to move it up, down. Now, something else you can do if you don't like to get your hand in the way is you can rotate everything around like this, and now my finger is over here and I can go the rest of the way. And there is a really nice circle. Okay, so then you would include this the rest of the way, and I will show you what it looks like when it's all done. There is the third color. Let's see if we can get some maybe more color on it. There we go. Let's look to see what it looks like after the next one. Alright, now let's look to see how we can do this yellow one. If you notice down at the picture down here, it looks like the center of the circle is actually where the bottom of the top line of circles, the blue, black, and red ones meet. So I'm going to try and get the center to be right in the middle. So what I should have done, what I'm going to make sure that you know how to do, is to put 2 spaces in between. That way there's one line in the middle. That way you can find this middle one. I'm going to have to kind of guess. It's going to be alright, but make sure you put 2 spaces in between to make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so here is the center. It's going to be on this one, and I bet it's going to go right about here, and it should go to the center of those. So let's just make sure that looks good, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, there is the yellow one, and we'll do one more with the green. So we'll, again, try to find the center should be right at the bottom, and it should be halfway in between this little space, so it's going to be right there. I'm just going to mark it. You can mark it if you want to, but you don't have to, and then you just got to draw the last one. Let's see what it looks like when I'm finished. And there it is. There are your Olympic rings.